Hey everyone, welcome back to the Taverners podcast, episode 4. I'm back, my name is Zach, and joining me today will be Virgil,
Oh yeah.
Harry,
Oh yeah?
and your regular host, Finn.
Heyo, what's up, guys?
Nice
So,
to be back.
Yeah, you've been gone for the last couple episodes, right?
Indeed, I have.
Or was it just last episode?
It was the last two, wasn't it?
I
It
think
was
so.
one.
I don't know, I've been on 3 in a row I think now, and the first one I was when Virgil was there, so... Mess.
You usually bring energy that we need, but tonight is this one's a late recording, so there might be a couple yawns midway through the session, but just, you know.
Oh, I would not be surprised at all.
Anyone who
Yeah.
yawns will be summarily shot afterwards.
Oh boy,
Well, let's
don't
just
mind
pray
me.
these,
we are all friends, and definitely, I'm not holding you all at gunpoint.
We all need,
Oh,
cough buttons, like radios and, like, podcasts have. Like, you press a button, you have, like, a hotkey that mutes your mic, so that when you cough, no one notices.
You know what's crazy? That's actually a feature of Discord.
Oh,
It's an
Yeah.
inbuilt feature of the program.
I mean, you can also use push to mute with zero hotkey,
yeah.
which I
Okay.
should do, but I don't want to because I'm lazy.
I'm like a puppet right now, and the puppet master is Monster Energy.
Right, so you had a ginger beer earlier, and then you had a nitra, didn't you?
Yeah.
And
Followed
then-
by what was the last thing I had?
It was from the corner shop, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, I'm just trying to remember. Oh, I had a pipeline.
Pipeline punch. What a good drink.
Pipeline is amazing.
Wait, the pipeline punch?
Yeah.
Oh, that
The
was
pink,
good.
the pink
yeah.
can. The pink can.
Yeah, that's actually like one of the few monsters I'll happily drink.
I tried the gold one today. I forgot what it was called. But
It's
like a
just called gold.
Oh, yeah, it was like a monster gold.
They
What did
ran
you
out
think
of
of
like,
it?
creative two-word names, and they're just like, yeah, fucking color.
It might have 2 words. I just know it has gold in it.
Nah,
It was
probably
nice.
not.
It was nice. It was fruity like Virgil. But
Oh
I was
yeah,
asking.
it's ultra gold. It's called ultra gold.
Did you say, sorry, did you say fruity like Virgil?
No,
Fail.
I said like
Fail.
Virgil said because he was.
Oh,
I was
'cause
asking
it
him
cut
for
out.
like.
All I
Yeah.
heard is fruity like Virgil, and then he continued, and I was like, what the fuck?
No,
We were pretty fruity today in general, I'd say.
Yeah.
The
Well,
given, I guess.
I mean, I'll bring it back to the usual start of the episode. What have you guys been
Of
up
course,
to
of
the
course.
last week?
I had a birthday.
Your birthday?
He
Oh
did
yeah,
have a birthday,
Yeah.
and really, unfortunately, he was not here to celebrate with us.
Yeah.
So,
19.
19 indeed.
the big 19,
Yeah.
whatever that
18,
means.
But like,
What did you do for
just
it?
again. So you do very much on the day of. I was just chilling.
Right.
The day before, I went out to the Commonwealth Games actually in Coventry.
Ooh.
Coventry. To
Wait,
watch
there's
the
Commonwealth Games in
games.
the Coventry. I thought.
Yeah,
It
well,
was Birmingham.
it's mainly in Birmingham, but they have some of the events in like the Coventry Arena, which is kind of close to Birmingham. But they were just so they can run them in parallel. It's like the next biggest arena within.
Yeah.
I went out
Although-
there for the judo finals. Which,
Hmm.
Nice. I mean, why
Oh,
would you want
judo's
to
fun to
Birmingham?
watch.
yeah,
I second that notion.
I say that as I haven't been there like 6 times in the past 2 years, but
I didn't hear what you said.
good, good. I was definitely not roasting where you went.
Bro, it's Coventry, bro. It's Coventry. It's Birmingham. It's man.
It's
Did
the
you get
end.
any?
I used to climb there for a couple of years before I came to Cardiff in Birmingham, and
Oh,
it's,
you mentioned, yeah.
it's not the one,
Yeah.
bro. Birmingham. There's one good thing in Birmingham. It's the climbing.
So Harry didn't get to celebrate much, but we celebrated on his behalf.
He celebrated on my behalf, and I
True.
crafted you guys perfectly exquisite drinks, and apparently only like 2 of you even had them.
No, I had mine.
I had mine.
You
My
you
problem-
actually had them. I'm
Yeah,
so
my
proud of
problem
you
was
guys.
Yeah, I consumed that pilt over peacemaker.
The filter
Oh
that
my
peas-
god. It's still in the system, you just can't tell until then.
I never even got your guys' thoughts on them. What did you think? Were they good?
Mine was alright. It's just like the problem is I don't like vodka.
Oh,
I,
no.
Once again, that was kind of by design.
I voiced my thoughts, I'm pretty certain, in the chat. What
I
was
think
it?
Did you say?
I can go back and look. I definitely said something very interesting, and you were like, yeah, that makes sense.
what was the mixer you put in the peacemaker?
I can't remember. I made little infographics for all in that.
I feel like the mixer like overpowered it a bit too much, but otherwise it was
I
good.
don't know, what was it? It was.
Oh my god! I should in the description of the podcast. I should put links to like
Put
the
them in drinks.
JPEGs.
Oh my god!
Of
It
like
was.
Harry's production.
Yeah,
Oh,
Imgal
I
included.
would-
Oh yeah,
I
it was old
found-
Jamaica ginger beer. That was a mistake.
Yeah, it was overpowering.
I don't know. I sort of like I clicked the Lamb's Navy, and then I was looking down at like the options, and then old Jamaica ginger beer was just like sat there on the menu, staring me in the face, and I was like, why not, right? You know,
By
why
name,
not?
it sounds pretty built over for some reason.
Yeah,
but-
right. It has that kind of like
Vibe.
that vibe. to it.
So, did you
Well,
get
I
any
don't
gifts
know
for your
if you
birthday?
Not just
Anything
gift
under
of
the
life.
stars?
really.
Yeah.
The gift of life. I got a Leona skin back.
Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh,
Yeah.
Pogger.
Shout out, yeah.
Which one did you
It was a
get?
100. It was the barbecue Leona, and it had a 100% win rate for exactly one day
Seriously? Who lost it?
until we
The birthday
Until
magic.
when?
played that game. You guys were there. I could pull up the .gg
Oh,
of that
okay,
game
yeah.
right now. It was an incident. That whole game was such an incident. It
Wait,
was
did
the
you
one
say
with
Alex bought you it or Zach bought you it?
Zach did.
Zach?
And then I had it was the one game where there was 4 of us and one random ADC, and the ADC was first timing Nyla.
Going
Remember
Damn.
on
that?
to that, I found what I said
Remember
about the
that
drink.
foul game?
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Before you do that, what I said about the drink, I can't remember if it's accurate now because I can't remember the taste of it. But I
Zach, you order
said,
another one?
no, it seems good, but the aftertaste is the opposite. Like going back to your ex. And, well, that response is liked by you personally.
Of
so
course.
I see as noted.
Well, I just sort of. I don't know if that was necessarily what I was going for, but I did put Fireball in there, so I knew that you weren't going to
I
have
was
a good time.
hoping the only thing I'd change other than that is you put 5 shots because he's got 5 passive stacks.
No, the best way I
Really
could
should've,
describe
really
it.
should have.
Best way I could describe it was it tasted like those hard candies that you get in metal tins and they're covered in white powder. They're usually like cherry flavored. It tasted like that.
Then
You
would
meant-
you
you meant
describe the
boiled
process of
sweets,
drinking
yeah.
it as blunt force?
Yeah, you guys
Oh
haven't
no,
even said
not
the
mine. I
names
was
of
talking
yours.
about Zach's. I
Oh,
was
his,
talking about
yeah.
Zach's.
Oh, I see.
You guys haven't even said the names of yours.
Yeah,
so
mine was blunt force trauma.
Oh, I
we can see
was
if Liz
right.
Mundo get it.
Funny, I used all of their ability names. I'm a hilarious, but
Majority of the people that actually watch our podcast don't even know what League of Legends is.
They'll
Well,
have to learn that.
they're
that's
about to
the thing.
fucking learn.
exactly. They're about to get some info.
What the hell was mine called? I forgot this. And I
The
shouldn't
mortal
forget
will,
this.
right?
What the Mortal Will? Fuck. I mean,
Yeah,
it's
I
because
have all of them open in front of
didn't
me.
have 5 stacks. That's why I can't
I
remember
should've.
it.
I wasn't gonna make you buy 5 shots. That would have
No,
been.
no,
that
it
would've
doesn't have to be
been
5
so
shots, it could be
expensive.
How
5
base would that have
aspects.
been?
Could have been 5
would've been
aspects. of
Fucking
the
5
game.
shots mixed
Yeah.
together, and that's it.
Everyone else, I just thought it's like 2 or 3 shots or something, and then Zach's is just randomly like everything.
Give everyone a
I would-
Camille.
I
It
would
costs
honestly-
like £31.
I think
No,
I'd
it's
prefer
5
that.
shots. Oh no, it's 4 shots and then a glass of neat vodka for the 5 stack that's stronger.
Amazing.
Yeah, that won't kill my stomach at all, despite what I've said all in the past about,
Yeah, we should make a drink called the 5 stack, and like each individual shot that goes into it is
We all
like,
choose one.
It's everyone selects their least favorite shot. You take 5 of them, pour them into a glass, and pour milk on top.
Sorry,
milk.
what did you give me? For a shot?
That's
Like
the
when you're-
Tell me it
champions
wouldn't
we
be
can't play.
foul. Yeah.
no, like Harry asking for a Jack Daniel. Or was it Harry or was it Zach?
Right.
Who asked for Jack Daniels and Coke? No, not Jack Daniels. Who asked for a Baileys and Coke?
That was
Because I didn't know what
so fucking
Baileys was.
Oh my god, dude. Oh my god.
was ages ago now.
I still have like a strong memory of that thing arriving.
Yeah.
at the table.
That would have been fine if they didn't leave his drink out for like 3 hours straight and then went, oh yeah, this is yours by the way. And he's like, yeah, I'll still drink
They
it.
didn't leave it out for a
Do you
while.
want this muddy puddle? It's
That was a
yours, take it.
foul
They were just
occurrence, man.
confused. They were like, "Did you actually order this? Is this what you?"
This is a real thing that like a human wanted.
And Sofian just didn't
bet
realize
you-
what Baileys was. He said.
I would order that. I'll
His
happily order
drink,
that.
his drink got detained at customs, basically. That's what he did.
The Weatherspoons customs.
They're like quality control.
So, Zach, what have you been
They
up
don't-
to in this last week?
They don't have any quality control, first of all.
Yeah,
And
just to
then-
get that one out of the way.
Yeah, just to make sure you know that. What have I been up to? Oh boy, I've had such a fun week of working 10-hour shifts in a place that barely appreciates me, but does pay me, so I can say they appreciate me to a degree.
They appreciate you exactly £8.25 an hour.
£8.50.
Close.
Damn. I mean, it's still decent.
It's just that little extra pennies.
The extra 25p an hour do go crazy though.
It do build
To
up
be
over
fair.
time.
Yeah, no, to be fair, I've only had like, I think 4 old women like try and flirt with me yesterday, so that was a benefit. But
Oh, bro, you
that's
should
still
take one
4
up.
too many.
Bro,
No,
you need to
because
Mills, bro.
oh my god, you
manipulate
guys
them
are
for their
so-
money. Manipulate them for their money. They
Yeah.
have it.
Get
take
tits
it
out
out.
of them.
I know how much they ordered. They don't have money. That's why
They
I said
do.
no.
They do.
No. I was tracking the orders. I was taking the orders.
Were
It
any of
wasn't
them
that much.
attractive?
No, they weren't.
Finn,
That's
bro,
why I
Finn,
said no.
you beyond desperate, bro. You
Bro,
shouldn't
reaching
be.
and shit, Tinder is not proven worthy.
It is what it is, bro. I
There's
mill
something
some
happened in the last 24 hours that I should know about.
I mill some milf. It is what it is.
But she didn't have kids. Two of them didn't have kids, as far as I know. The other two are still just people I'm not attracted to because they're like 2 times my age.
Two
I'm
of
gonna
them,
say
what
crazy.
like we're
Absolutely
getting to herd
outrageous.
quantities
thought.
now.
Disregarding them.
Hey,
Whatever.
2
You know
times
what?
your age is only like 40. 40's
Yeah,
not
that's
bad.
still too old. What do you mean?
Insane maths, boyfriend.
I know, right?
Wow.
It's actually
like 40.
if you're 19, it's actually 38. So
I'll
Wow,
be
that's
20
crazy.
in 2 months, which I actually found funny. Is me and Virgil will both be 20 in 2 months, and Harry's just turned 19.
It's so bad, man.
It's
That's
so
pretty
and you-
violent to think
you're
about.
such a
So
goo goo
bad.
gaga baby.
Every
Finn, shut
time,
the hell
every
up.
time I tell like a real human who's like an adult,
Me
that I
not
was
born
born
2
in
months ago.
2003. That piece of information just like rips them apart.
If
Well,
your
you
parents,
get like actively tormented by every human you interact with who's slightly older than you. It's so funny.
Bro,
Yeah,
Dad,
but
when
the
I
thing is,
tell people I was
the
born
thing
in
is-
2003, they're like, "What? People are born in 2003? How's that possible?"
I thought the cap was 2002.
Yeah.
the thing is, Virgil,
Could have been.
they torment me, but what they don't realize is that they're taking recoil damage in the process.
what, by being slightly older,
Yeah.
Every time they torment me, they have to realize that people born in 2003 are now adults and they are old.
I mean, sure, but as well as that, if your parents waited like a month and a couple days, you wouldn't have met Virgil, most likely, because you
So
wouldn't
what
be
you're
in the same
saying,
uni.
what you're saying is, if my parents
Yeah.
had waited a month and a couple of days, I would never have been introduced to the hellscape that is League of Legends.
Oh no, you would have. I
You're
feel
welcome,
I might have
Your
honey.
parents entered you.
They into my whole career, bro.
Yeah. You're getting papers. What the
Yeah.
heck?
Like
Bro
a
wouldn't,
paper
bro
that
wouldn't
moves.
even know the word int. That's fucked up.
That's so fucked
Wait.
up. I was trying to explain to James earlier what inted means, because
So-
people don't. I know it feels so intuitive to us who play League of Legends,
Oh.
but literally anyone who's watching this that doesn't play League of Legends will not understand what inting means.
But it's really easy to explain. It's just intentionally throwing, which means like that.
Letting the team down.
Exactly.
Opposite of wanting to win, which is basically every game I play with Finn.
Actively striving to lose by
And, And for the viewers who do know League, we are well aware it's intentionally feeding, but it means more intentionally throwing these days.
we just use it for whatever. Someone
it's
messes
easier
up
to,
that
it's easier
inting.
to explain as intentionally throwing than it is to explain as intentionally feeding. 'Cause
Yeah.
then you have to explain why feeding the enemy in your lane is such a bad thing. And it's
Yeah.
like, oh, but you're
What's
just
feeding, bro?
sharing your food with the enemy. And it's like, no.
I mean,
so
you
much
kind of do
worse.
work. Like, if you play League professionally, you kind of do work at a zoo.
Yeah.
So, it makes sense.
Virgil, what have you been up to in this last week?
What have I been up to? Very similar to what Zach just said. I've been working for the Chinese business magnate.
Always good
Moving
to hear.
boxes around, man.
Always good
Uh,
to hear that someone's
for
helping out with the
suboptimal
CCP.
Of course, man. I owe them my life and my services forever for them.
If they ever take over the world, just come back to this recording and we show that we
I'll show
support
them.
them.
Obviously,
Yeah.
China #1.
China #1.
What about in the other event where they just die? Like the entire nation gets bombed to fuck and they don't get anything off.
Well, let's not, talk about that.
It
'cause
becomes slightly
CCP
less
will
of my
be-
problem.
True. So Virgil, tell them
Maybe-
about your haven safety. Haven safety? Tell
The
them about
health
your...
and safety incident. Oh
Yeah.
boy. Well, I don't want to get fired from my job. However,
Nah, unless...
No,
What?
it's not to be heard. But yeah, I showed up to work at 8 a.m. It was a nice, relaxing shift about to take place, and just as I'm starting my work, moving to the first shelf of the day to get some boxes, I hear a massive crashing from upstairs because we work in a 2-story warehouse, and I'm like, I wonder what that is. Someone's surely just dropped some boxes. Everyone has a good laugh about it, and then I see a chunk of the ceiling fall down in front of me. And that's when I rush upstairs and realize that one of the huge metal framed shelves has collapsed and tipped over into the adjacent one, and the steel legs of it have gone through the floor or through the ceiling, whichever way you want to look at it. And anyone who would have been in that aisle would probably be injured at the very least. Fortunately, some people dodged it by a minute or two.
A minute
So
or two.
literally, a few of my coworkers were like picking in that aisle minutes before it came down.
Maybe one of them entered the shelves, so they got
I
the
mean,
bit.
they'd have just been fucked, like if it landed on them.
I said before, you should have tried for the insurance, you know?
Yeah, see
Maybe
if
there's a
get
maybe there's a
anything out
legal
of them, dude.
maybe
Insurance
there's
for
legal
what, though?
angle.
There's always a
Sue them
legal
for
angle.
possible harm, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
They should have. Yeah.
Well, the reasoning is like extremely simple. Is well, there's two factors to it. One is the floor is like the cheapest, like thinnest fucking like fiberboard shit you could ever assemble. And when like none of us have had actually like except the people who'd been working there since like the start of the newer house actually realized how thin the fucking like ceiling / floor was until pieces of it literally fell down.
Were you
We
back in
literally-
work the next day?
Oh yeah, but don't worry, we had two very thin wooden poles holding up the shelf legs that were protruding through the floor, so obviously no further harm could come, right?
Yeah, obviously.
Obviously, nothing bad
Slap
could
some
have happened
tape
at
on
all.
there. Slap some tape on these huge shelves carrying hundreds of boxes. It should be fine. No one will get harmed. And no one has been harmed, so it did work.
Obviously, yeah, that's exactly how we should look at every health and safety
Yeah, right.
situation.
Were there any consequences? Yes. Here, maybe we have a lawsuit. If no, whatever.
I mean,
Yes.
it definitely slowed down
Problem
business,
for
though.
next time.
It definitely slowed down business because it's completely out of bounds to pick in that area now, and there's a lot of boxes there.
That has a similar vibe to that thing of like, you know, like an asteroid hitting the Earth and someone being like, "Oh no, this will be terrible for the economy."
I mean, it literally is though for like the boss, because he'll just be like, "Oh, I'm gonna lose like small amounts of profit. Not I'm gonna lose workers' life."
Yeah.
If
He
the
doesn't
boss, if the boss really cared that much, he would go into the warehouse, go past the restricted area, and just start taking the boxes out.
Yeah, he'd be doing it himself. He'd put his life on a limb on the line.
Obviously, man.
But clearly he's
Who
not.
do you think
so
he is?
He doesn't care enough.
The problem is
I'm not
he's
sure how old
the-
he is, but I'm sure his aged frame is athletic enough to scale that fucking thing.
Yeah, man, he's not the drone anymore. He's the boss now, so he doesn't have to do that.
Yeah.
And now he can order other people to do the thing that he was. hated.
Also, subsection to this rant. I was doing like work for Rhino instead, like just a little bit of help, and I got a fucking like a tackle guard, like a rugby tackle guard, thrown at the back of my head. It was fucked
Why?
up because we were trying to empty out like the Rhino warehouse, and we were like throwing everything towards like the van.
Wait, I swear I swear tackle guards aren't like hard. I swear they're just padded, like foam pads.
They are padded.
But I swear they're just like
Those-
foam pads.
They're pretty cumbersome though,
I was gonna say they're not exactly.
and
small.
one of my coworkers like did a lazy throw and it fucking smacked me in the back of the head.
Oh, do you mean like a box of them?
A pack of two of them, like together.
Yeah.
It didn't really like do any damage to me, obviously, but
It's just,
I
it's
mean,
just like
maybe it did.
large object makes contact with
mean-
head.
Maybe it did.
You don't know if it did. You'll have to give
It
it
rattled
like, a
me,
couple
that's for
years.
sure. Fucking my head bobbled after hitting it. It's fucked up.
His
Oh, it
head
didn't
was-
damage your head. It damaged your spine. Oh god,
Oh,
that's like
God.
way worse.
I just find it funny though, like this coworker, I literally never talked to him in my fucking life. The first interaction we have is him throwing a fucking tackle guard at my head.
Somehow sounds about right.
So for
Yeah.
my last week, I got two older brothers. They both go to the gym like almost every day. They've been going there for years now, so they're both quite built up. But instead of going to the gym, I did go to the gym for about a year, but I just got so bored of it, and I went back to my main hobby, climbing, which I stopped because I know this sounds dumb, but I did it to compete. And once you get past a certain age in like the academies, like the youth academies, then you no longer become, at a certain point you're no longer youth and you can't do them. So after I became too old, I stopped going to these climbing sessions, and I just stopped climbing in general, went to the gym. But like I said, I got bored of the gym, so I went back into climbing since the start of the year actually. It's just been about 7 months now. I've been climbing like 3-4 times a week non-stop, and I'm significantly better than I was before because this is more self-motivating. I can go as much as I want because I drive now, and Anyway, so I'm a very good climber at the moment, and I took both my brothers down because they were being very cocky. Both of them just saying, "Oh, I go gym, my back's huge, I can pick up 100 kg or 200 kg dumbbell, my grip strength's insane." I was like, "Okay, come climb with me. Just come climb with me. You'll see. Let's just come climb with it. Let's not talk about it. Let's just go."
A quick thing, Finn. Just before you get into the meat of the story, do you want to explain to the viewers what the different levels are in climbing?
In terms of like grading.
Yeah, so they know how fucked the situation is.
Oh, okay. All right. So in my climbing center, there are higher. Okay, so I'll go through the grade system first. There's V1, which is like anyone can do it. Like a child can come along, and they can just scale the wall no problem as long as they're not afraid. There's V2, V3, V4, V5. It scales up. It scales up, and there's a big jump between like V4 and V5. It gets like the jump between each grade gets higher with like the higher you go. So like a jump from a V1 to a V2 isn't that bad, but it gets progressively like a bigger jump between each level.
Shit's exponential and shit.
Yeah.
Literally exponential. So I take my brothers down. I get them warmed up. I introduce them to the people that I climb with down there, like to some of the staff, and I chuck them on some V2s, V3s, because I'm not going to put them on a V1. It's embarrassing. And I took them on some V2s, V3s. My oldest brother, he seemed okay. Like he was where I'd expect like a first time climber who's got some physical fitness to be. And then my middle brother, he was impressive. Like he had good upper body strength. Like he does a lot of calisthenics. So he was easily able to do V2s, V3s. He was doing V4s. He tried a V5, couldn't do it because, like I said, the jumps increased significantly. He wasn't doing every V4. I'll say that. Is like he was doing an impressive amount for his first ever climbing session. So yeah, I was giving him praise. I was like, yeah, that's pretty good, and he's getting all cocky, like, oh, I'm better than my brother, I'm better than my oldest brother, and he's thinking like he's at the same level, because at this point I'm climbing the exact same routes with him, because I don't want to just like leave them behind. And then I get bored at a certain point. I'm like, all right, this is my time to like show off to them. I just hop on a V7 yellow. Yellow's like usually with the V7s in my center anyway. So I hop on a yellow. I just like flash it in front of their eyes. They're like, "What the fuck?" And like I said, my brother's like cocky, so he thinks he can do it himself. He helps on. He like goes to. There's a move in climbing called dynoing, which is like a jump from hold to hold. And the first move on this yellow with these terrible holds, they're skinny, not a lot of an edge to them, so they're kind of slippy. My brother starts on it. Bless him, struggling to like even hold the start hold. Jumps up to like kind of cheats by putting his feet on the floor, which you're not supposed to because they're not on the feet holds on the wall.
You say that's super cheating.
Hold on.
Yeah, but I'm not.
Just...
Yeah, but I'm not gonna
That's
call him
crazy
out
cheating,
on his like.
I can dyno V11 if I'm allowed to have my feet on the floor.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna call him out. Like he didn't keep them on for long. Like anyway, so he jumps to it and he again just doesn't even catch it. And like it was from the rest of that session, it was just like constant like he was proud of me. I wasn't like actually trying to be a rude guy about it. He was proud of me. He was like, "Oh yeah, my brother's actually really good at climbing, like wholesome." And I was like, "Yeah, like first session, you're like really good. You got good upper body strength. You just needed to work on a few things." It was wholesome in the end. My oldest brother was kind of molding because he was worse than both of us, even though he's the oldest.
See.
Like he's turned out the shortest out of all of us. Like me and my brother, my middle brother, were both like 6 foot. I'm 6'3", my middle brother's 6'5", and my oldest brother's like 5'11".
Should have drank that schmilk.
Should have drank that schmilk. And it's he's very molded because he's the oldest brother. Oldest brother's meant to be like the best at everything, but unfortunately he wasn't. But it was a good session.
Middle child OP IMO.
But it was funny because I've never been like a competitive out of the two of my all of my brothers. Like whenever they come over from the gym and they're like flexing and shit or like talking about their PBs and stuff, I'm like, I'm not interested. I'm really not interested. But it's like as soon as it's something I'm passionate about, and like I could actually like without being too much of a prick about it, I was there to help them and show them how fun climbing can be. But it was also like a proud moment where I could be a bit competitive and be like, yeah, look at me, look at me.
Would you recommend climbing as a hobby to the viewers?
Oh, 100%. It's so sociable. It's really good for your fitness as well. There's no, I don't think there's a single downside to climbing, honestly. It's so.
And can anyone get into it?
Yeah, I've seen,
Virgil, you've seen me. You know what I look like as a person. I climb.
bro.
Anyone
I've
can do it, bro.
I've
Anyone can
seen
do that
like
shit.
I've seen like 60-year-olds with huge beer bellies climbing, and they like have been doing it for months, and literally anyone can do it.
That must be interesting to see.
Mm.
Okay, you've done V7 climbing. Now do 7 CS a minute.
Difficult challenge.
Oh my gosh. I
Extremely hard.
instantly railroads it back to League of Legends. But speaking of which, and your brothers, Finn, and of you and your brothers, who is the best League of Legends player in your family?
Oh, me, none of them. Oh, actually,
We'll know if you're
Oh,
lying.
hell.
We'll know if you're lying. We'll drop that anecdote.
No, okay. No, I forgot about my oldest brother. My oldest brother, he's significantly better than us at both me and my brothers at League. I'm better than my middle brother at League because he doesn't play it. He plays TFT. But my oldest brother is like my oldest brother's champion man.
Champion, bro. Champion.
He jumps between Kane and Fiora.
I was gonna say I'm worried of looking at Bulby account history.
Anyway, it is what it is. It is what it is.
We were bringing Finn up a second ago. Now you're gonna tear him down.
I gotta suppress you in a moment.
We can't
Gotta
let it
keep
too much.
Gotta keep
No,
it balanced.
Stay humble, Finn.
50% win rate IRL for this guy.
Yeah, true.
But no, yeah, I do remember when we were first playing League, I think almost 2 years ago now, Finn dropped out for a game because his oldest brother wanted to play with us to see how good we were. And I think we were all pretty amazed by the jungler. He was playing Wukong. I think, and
I
then
swear he
you,
was
you
playing
told
Kane.
us he was playing Wukong jungle. And
Kane,
then,
probably.
No, he was playing
no,
Kane.
I remember it was 2 games.
No, it
One
was
Kane
Kane.
game. It was 2 games, Finn. I fucking remember. Shut the
No,
fuck
it was
up.
Kane. It was
Anyway,
100% Kane.
I remember we were all like pissed bronze eye, and back then we were like, "Oh my god, your brother's so good," and then you were like, "Yeah, my brother's like was like X diamond," and I think from then we just started making fun of you for like a week because your brother is just infinitely better than your league.
He
Which is
is.
unfortunate, but
Yeah, the funny thing is, he unironically, like, he was worse than us. He was more of a degenerate than us when he was playing. Like, I'm not going to expose him.
About being a degenerate.
Yeah, I'm not going to expose him for anything because that's unfair. But he was infinitely more addicted than any of us are right now, and it paid off for him. Like, he got really good ranks, but it was he kind of had like a turnaround moment in his life that we haven't had yet, where he was like, "This isn't worth my time and effort," and just became mega healthy, goes to gym, owns a business. So yeah.
I mean,
All good.
I wouldn't say I'm addicted to League at all. If anything, I've probably played the least out of us currently.
No, how
Am I
many
still
hours have
on
you got this
this?
season? I've
How
got
many
like
games?
no. How many hours have you got this season? I got like 200.
I know I've got about 400 games. Don't know how many hours.
Oh, I think
I
that's
think I
like
have easily. I think I have easily most hours, but like around, I'm not playing that much.
I think I've got 200 games played this season around
This
that.
season, Finn.
Yeah, this season. Deadass.
You know, I thought you were opening the client, bro.
Visual, wasn't I literally like
checking your ass?
bro, Visual, wasn't I like saying to you like not too long ago, like I was surprised by how little games I played this season?
I mean, you don't play really.
No. I can't just sit around procrastinate and watch TikTok.
In terms of how much you need to play League to like play League, you don't play.
Yeah.
I'll
Yeah.
open client now.
I'm ironically checking the client. I ain't done with it.
I'm legit out of practice. It's sad. Well, it's not really sad. It's actually good for me.
I was gonna say it's good for your mental health.
And then I will talk about recently. I'd say recently. I mean yesterday. I bought myself some airsoft rifles. I'm not gonna drop the amount I spent on them, but I have been working quite a lot this summer. I've talked about my job previously, so it was a comfortable amount of money for the money I've earned. But yeah, I dropped some money on an airsoft rifle and an airsoft handgun. I got a Glock and an M4. The M4 is an AEG, and my handgun, my Glock, is gas powered. It was gas blowback. It's pretty satisfying to shoot. We were at another friend. You might see in future podcast episodes. His name is Sufyan, and he's got a really big garden. So literally, we got there about what, like 1:30, 2?
2 roughly.
Yeah, 2 roughly.
We
We
were
stayed
outside
there.
at 1:30ish, but
Yeah, we stayed there till like 2. No, we
oh,
got there around like 1:30, and we stayed there till like 7, just
Okay,
shooting our
well,
guns the whole day, doing target practice. I got shot in the back a few times because I ain't a pussy. I volunteered.
On
Yeah.
your own accord.
yeah, you volunteered, to which like no one particularly cared or wanted to, but
No.
I wanted to do it to prove a point. Right?
bro
No, I wanted to-
those bullets in his back.
He was literally like horny for it. By the
No,
end of the time,
don't say that
he was
because I
legit-
wasn't.
He was legit like,
No,
oh no, guys,
don't say that.
please shoot me, please, guys. Come
No,
on.
when did I say that?
Bro definitely didn't moan after every shot.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
that's
yeah.
pain. They were pain grunts.
You admitted they weren't.
They weren't what?
They were not pain grunts.
They were 100% pain grunts.
The way you explained it to me
They just sound
is
very
that that's your
sussy.
method of dispersing pain, is
Yeah.
by moaning.
Yeah, they just
Like,
found very sussy. They just found it's very suspicious, but yeah, they are but my, like what was said, my way of dispersing pain. Instead of screaming, I moan.
I
Yeah,
see.
for sure.
Which
But
is
they weren't-
arguably worse.
My
to be honest.
logic behind being shot was literally, I want to see what my rifles would feel like to someone I'm shooting. I gotta feel what it's like for a person behind the rifle. You know, I don't want to be out here fucking decimating foes. So I got them to try it on me. It's not that bad. Like, airsoft is kind of sometimes overhyped for how painful it is, especially like when I went for my first airsoft session. A guy was literally like, "Oh my god, this is so much worse than paintball. Like, this is insane." He was like, I guess he was trying to scare me, but I mean, they're literally not that bad, and so I was okay with being shot as long as it's not like in my neck or like on my head, because those, even if it's like a fucking paintball or any kind of weapon,
I mean,
if it hits your
headshots are a no-go zone anyway, you're not allowed.
yeah, and the
But when
back
they
of
happen,
like
ouchie.
they happen, ouchie. Yeah, exactly.
I remember the first time James got shot in the head by a soft Glock and was just straight up like bleeding all down his face.
Yeah, it was like, oh,
Yeah, he
it's
took an
fine.
eyebrow
You
shot
don't
that
normally
made.
accompany that with a laugh, but like somehow it's a funny memory.
If it was like
Well,
a
it's because it was literally like textbook. It was like, okay, let's do a thing. Surely nothing will go wrong. Thing goes wrong immediately.
if it was like a centimeter down, I could have blinded him. I would have blinded him.
But it didn't, so we can laugh about it.
Exactly.
Bro said I as if he delivered the shot.
Bro, you weren't there, bro.
No, but I'm telling you, like, if that was a centimeter down from his eyebrow, I would have blinded him.
Oh
I feel
yeah.
like it's
I mean, he had
it's a
goggles on.
I don't. Yeah,
Yeah, it's
I don't need to be
We're
there
safe.
to be like,
We're safe. Don't worry about it.
oh, did
except,
you?
except for trigger discipline and everything.
Not only were we doing airsofts today, Virgil has a
I
Mongolian.
almost killed Finn.
Oh, Virgil has a Mongolian bow, and second shot, I think it was. Yeah, second
First.
shot.
Oh, first. It was your first
Thanks.
shot, and you pulled it out.
Oh yeah, it must have been first. Yeah.
But
So
I offered you another shot, and you didn't take it after.
Yeah, I took a shot. We have a target that we shoot into. It's like a foam padding, and it wasn't like I missed it or anything and like hit a wall. It was like it went in, and I just like couldn't get it out, and then when I did get it out, it snapped.
You broke one of those arrows.
He PayPal'd me 12 quid after.
I was gonna say, do you have any idea how much those cost?
No, I PayPal'd him for it like immediately. It wasn't like I was just like, oh, my bad. Unfortunately, I
Bro,
didn't know how to
I
take them out.
drove Virgil out there when we were buying those arrows, and we, when they told us how much those fucking arrows cost, I was looking around the room and I saw both of them take physical damage.
Yeah, bro.
Like,
When
mean,
Virgil
close to
offered
the
me,
I
face.
expected it, but it still hurt, you know.
when Virgil offered me that second shot, I was like, nah, I'm good. I'm good.
I'm just like £12 PayPal. You fuck up, you pay.
I did pay.
He did pay.
I did pay.
Screw up, you pay up.
I mean, it's fair enough, you know. If you like break someone's property, you should pay for it.
I fired
Anyway.
it to the floor. No one noticed.
I noticed,
Well,
but
One person
it was in
noticed.
the dirt.
Yeah, you were the one that turned around and saw. I
Yeah.
was just like, shh. I never miss.
And our friend James, the one that got shot in the eyebrow, he brought his air pistol at them. Like
Mhm.
not an airsoft. Like these are the ones that like high PSI shoot metal pellets at
6 foot
extremely
pounds, I
high.
think.
Yeah, extremely high velocities.
We don't big this thing up too much, but yeah. It's a different ballpark than airsoft, of course.
Yeah, you would never
It's
actually
the kind of
shoot
thing
people
that
with
if you shot it at someone, it would do lasting, meaningful damage.
Well, yeah, you hunt rabbits with
criminal
them.
sentence damage.
Yeah, you hunt rabbits with them. Like, that's what.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
If you can
Quote
pierce
from
a
him,
rabbit,
you can kill a rabbit with this.
yeah, if you can kill a rabbit, you can probably do a lot of damage to a human.
Not that we do or endorse this.
Oh no, we're not endorsing
I
it.
feel like we should clarify.
Yeah, it was extremely fun to shoot hands with.
Yeah, we were very muzzle disciplined.
Yeah, that works. But there was also the J2O bottle, which eventually shattered, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's
I
so
was the one that
weird, the
popped it.
power of it,
Thank you.
because it could, like we said, it could kill like a small animal, but it took several shots to actually do any damage to a J2O ball.
Yeah. It's all to do with range, because when I shot it and popped it, I was just looking. I was like, what if I just take like a few steps forward, and then I shot it and it just popped immediately.
Yeah.
So it might have just been a ranged gap.
I feel like the shots it did take before have to have contributed, of course.
Oh yeah, obviously. But standing as far back as we were didn't help.
Hmm.
So I was
It
like,
was hard to
let me
even
just-
hit it, although I first tried it XD.
XD, I first tried it as well. No.
James is having an unlucky day considering he's the gun guy.
Bro, we literally littered. You could imagine us being there from 2 o'clock. The amount of like
So many
BBs
BBs, man.
that have been littered and stuff. And they're all biodegradable, by the way. So they won't stay in his garden. They're not just permanent plastic in his garden. But yeah, there are so many BBs in his garden. Like
For
literally.
perspective, the Valkyrie like container I had has 3,200 BBs in it, and I went through 2/3 of it today.
It's literally like disgusting. You can't look at any part of his garden without seeing a BB. But he said like his parents are okay with it. Like they said that they don't really go out in it much.
We legit went all directions. It's fucked up.
Yeah. We started shooting at a wall, and then the rest of the day we just started shooting everywhere. We had a little target set up,
Then set up a little course for us.
which was pretty fun to shoot, knocking things over. We had an extremely
then,
hard shot.
The
And then-
CO2 canister.
Perspective, we were shooting like monster cans mainly, but then there are these like CO2 canisters, really small, look like bullets themselves.
You know the ones, the fucking NOS cans.
You know, if you're from the UK,
If you live in the
exactly-
UK, you know.
Yeah.
you know
know
exactly what you're talking about.
bullshit we're on.
I can't
Um,
believe my innocent little child mind used to think, oh, people have been playing airsoft in this area.
My child mind thought that people were making whipped cream because that's what my brother told me when I found his.
His.
Oh boy.
Oh,
I
hell
don't
no.
know.
I'm not
I
going to
don't- I
expose him.
don't-
I say and I quote, I'm not going to
Yeah,
expose
I
him.
don't want to expose my brother, and then just says this like 20 minutes later.
Yeah, we're from the UK. It's fucking like marijuana over here.
I mean, it's,
That would be all well and good if it didn't have long-term consequences.
Yeah, I know.
Or short-term consequences.
And all the
General
consequences.
to be honest.
general consequences and fucking issues with it.
Alright,
If
boys,
there were no repercussions, it'd be fine.
give me permission to talk about my
Just like murder.
rant since we're on about airsoft.
Okay, go do
You
your
Wait,
have
rant.
that
exactly-
thing earlier wasn't your rant.
No.
Finn, you have exactly 2 minutes and 15 seconds for your
Is it
rants.
Tinder-based?
No, it's longer than that, Zach.
Is
Uh,
it
fine,
Okay, you
you
have
get-
2
you
minutes and 30 seconds.
Nope.
No, we'll
I'm
do 3 minutes. 3 minutes starting now.
Nope. Okay.
Let
So
him go and we're allowed to cut in.
yeah, you guys can cut in whenever you want because this is like a discussion. So we all love airsoft guns. Airsoft guns are hyper realistic. They're replicas of real life weapons. And I'm in quite a boxed in. I live in a semi-detached neighborhood, so most houses are pretty close to each other. There's like a fence between us. That's in our gardens. Anyway, I don't need to explain it. There's like a fence between the gardens, and I wanted to use my airsoft weapons in the garden. I also want to have them in my room out, and people can see especially the people directly opposite me, they can see through my window. So I would hate for them to think I have a real gun and call a SWAT on me. So I was like, I'll do the responsible thing, and I'll go over to the neighbor's house and I'll explain the whole situation to them. Now this neighbor, he looks about, I think it's about early 70s, maybe even older. So he doesn't really understand the concept of like recreational airsoft weapons. I should have called them, in hindsight, I should have called them toys. But I go over, I knock on their door. He answers the door, bit hesitant. He's like kind of hidden behind the door. He knows of me. Like I've been in his house and we've had like family events or friends and family events where we've gone over to the house. So like he knows me.
Were they there at New Year's when we were at yours?
No.
Okay.
Anyway, so I come and I go over and I just said, hey, I just want to give you guys I just want to give you the heads up that as of lately, I purchased myself some replica airsoft weapons. And he goes, what do you mean by that? And I kind of explained to him that they fire these BB bullets using electricity or air. I proceed to show him the marks they leave on my back, and this guy's like, if I see you with those, I'm going to call the police. I was like, what? He was like, I have grandchildren. And I was like, okay. He was like, I have grandchildren. If I see any of those, if I have any problems and I see them, I'm going to call the police. I'm like, wait, like, I said to him, I was like, you know me, I've been over your house. Like, I'm not like a problem. These are purely like recreational use. They're just for fun. You go to centers with your friends to play with them. I'm explaining it as calm as possible. Like I said, in hindsight, I should have just called them toys from the get-go because he probably doesn't know where airsofts are. And I did offer to like show him. I pulled out my phone. I was like, I can search them up for you and give you the rundown on Google. Dude was dead ass afraid of Google. He was like, no, take that away from me. I don't want anything to do with them. I was like, oh, okay. He was like, I will call the police if I see them. I'm like, I said to him, I feel like you're threatening me right now. I was like, he was like, no, I'm not threatening you. I'm telling you, if I have any problems with this, I will call the police. I'm like, if this motherfucker calls the police, and he's the kind of old guy that would be like, he would call the police and be like, my next door neighbors have guns in the house. So I'm like, bro, you're basically saying that like, if you see these toys that I have, these airsoft weapons that I have, I'm gonna get a SWAT team to my house that could possibly actually kill me. You know? I'm like, bro, I have a gun that will leave a red dot on your back if you get shot, or wherever you get shot. And I said to him, I was like, you're threatening me right now. I said, if you're saying that to me, then okay, I will say the same to you. If I see any problems in your house, I will call the police on you then.
Oh hell no.
And he's like, okay. I'm like, bro, none of that needed to happen. Like, I've explained to you, like, I've shown you today, like, where these marks I've got. He was like, how did you get those marks? Who shot you? Where did you shoot them? I'm like, in my friend's garden, a big garden, a safe garden. I was like, friends I trust. And he's like, he just seemed so sketch about all of it. And I was just, it's caught me off guard because I was like, this guy knows me. Like, I've been over his house. I've mingled with his family. He knows my parents. Like, you know, we're family friends. And I'm like, this guy's like threatening to call the police on me, which could endanger my life because I have these airsoft weapons. And I'm just like, this dude's overreacting so much. So I said, I was like, I'm not gonna risk this. I don't care fully that I don't get the opportunity to have these in my garden. But I was like, I'll compromise. You can't like, I won't bring them out of my house, but I don't want you calling the police if you just see them in my house. Like if you look at a window and you see me with this out, I don't want you to be like, yeah, he's got a gun. Because they are not guns, they are airsoft weapons. I'm fine with not taking them out in the garden if it's really gonna upset you. And like, the situation kind of diffused, But now I know that if he sees me in my garden with these like airsoft, these toys, I'm gonna get the police called on me, and I'm just like so gobsmacked by
Hey, do
that.
you want to know what's fun about that, though, Finn? Want to know what's fun about that?
Nothing's fun about that.
No, but yeah, it's not fun. But you want to know? Whenever I say, "Do you want to know what's fun about something?" You have to understand. I am always going to give you the most unfun information possible.
It is
Yeah.
in fact Harry that we are talking about.
What,
It's like
what's
it's my favorite.
what's your
So
information?
you want to
Holy
know what's
God.
fun about it?
Yeah,
Which
tell
is
me.
that if they do call the police on you and you do have your airsoft gun out in public, because it's technically even on your property, if it's visible to someone who's not within your property itself, and they can see it, and it's a realistic imitation firearm, it's a crime. And even though no one cares, and it's not the kind of crime that anyone should ever report, because obviously, if it's been explained like that in that situation, it's totally safe. But if he calls the police on you, and the police come and find that you have one, there is nothing that you can do to stop them taking it off you.
But that's why
Yeah,
I'm like a sensible
exactly.
person, and I'm
you
like
won't get compensation, you won't get anything for it. They'll take it off you. They won't give it
That's
back to
why
you,
I'm
and you'll
sensible, though.
lose
That's
the whole
why-
value of your gun.
that's why I go over to my neighbors. Like I've got another 2 neighbors. I don't think I'm gonna need to tell them now because I'm not. They don't have line of sight of my window, and I won't be taken out of my garden. But that's why the first initial was like, I would hate for these guys to call the police on me because I couldn't imagine it. My grandpa bought an airsoft weapon, and he was using it to shoot like seagulls in his garden that were like scaring away other birds. And like he got reported by neighbors, and like police came, they just took it away from him. So like I knew this, and I was like, I'm gonna be a responsible adult, and I'm just gonna give my neighbors a heads up. But I feel like the response I got from someone way older than me was just so like overblown, so like it was just so over the top for what I like, for the reasonable like discussion I tried to have with him, and the kind way I approached it at first, for him to just be like, I will call the police on you.
That's
I
a good
see it.
example, I feel, of like the bell curve of understanding that comes with age. Like, the closer you are to the middle of your life, the more likely you are to be like open and understanding of new ideas. And then when you become older again, it goes back to like when you were younger and you're like fixed in your ways.
Yeah.
It's really weird that way, but that's kind of how it goes. Like, everyone's, because of technology these days, everyone's noticed how like old timers are impossible to convince of new shit.
If I spoke to, I have neighbors next door to me that are like in their 30s, really early 30s, and like they're really safe. And like I haven't spoken to them about it yet because they're on holiday right now. But like I can imagine if I spoke to them, first of all they would know about airsoft, so that would give them like the knowledge advantage, and secondly, even with the description, the very clear description I gave them of the guy I spoke to today, they would fully understand it. They might be like, oh, this is a bit quirky having like realistic weapons, but like they wouldn't be like, I'm in harm. I would have to call the police. Like I can understand. Like my mum, she doesn't want to hold them. She knows they're not real and they won't do harm. But herself, it's just like the whole gun. She said it's just the whole gun culture thing. She would feel uncomfortable holding something that looks like something that could take someone's life. And I could understand it if my like neighbors that I was telling you about just then, that seemed pretty cool, around quite young. I can imagine I could understand if they didn't want to hold it, or if they, you know. But I would never expect the response of like, I'm going to call the police off them.
There's also a weird like phenomenon with, I don't know if it's like IQ based or whatever, but some people just have this weird perspective where they take the phrase like "give them an inch and they'll take a mile." They take it so literally, like they actually think that like in a discussion, if you take a position, you have to defend it, even if you're wrong.
That can never be compromised.
Like it's so weird. Because the way you described it, it sounded like he latched onto a word, like you said, weapon, and he latched onto the word, and he was like, "Okay, I'm gonna die on this hill now."
Yeah. He's like, bro, I have like grandchildren. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not out. I said to him, like, if I did shoot it in the garden, it'd be on the off chance that like I was tinkering with it and I wanted to check if it still worked. It wouldn't be like I'm in my garden constantly shooting BBs, because it's loud. I don't want to like disturb my neighbors by constantly. It would literally just be like, I've added a mod to it or whatever. I want to see what it like feels like now, or like is it still working, or And I said to him that, I said, like, if I was to do it in the garden, it would just be like that. And I guess he just, like, fully didn't understand it. He's like, I have grandchildren. Like, he's taking it as if I'm literally gonna like be shooting live weapons in his garden. There's gonna be like a chance his like kid gets caught in the crossfire and like dies immediately or some shit. Like, no, I most likely probably like his grandchildren aren't living with him. The off chance that his grandchildren come over to visit him, and I'm out in the garden live firing weapons pointing at his grandchildren. No, I wouldn't even have
Bro,
my weapon out
it's the
around
it's the I
children.
have rights stereotype. The fucking I have rights
Uh,
stereotype. But every time the phrase I have rights is used, it's being used to tread on someone else's or to tread on someone else's.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
literally
yeah.
every fucking time.
The weirdest part about this is the fact that he's like, okay, I can't complain for my own safety, so I'm gonna bring my grandkids, and it's like, that's where it gets confusing.
I would never
The
like.
thing that's even funnier is that like one of the like basic things that you do with airsoft guns is you use the same firearm safety that you would use with a real weapon, right?
Yeah,
There's like even on the off chance that there was a situation where you were in your garden with your airsoft gun and his grandchildren were in the next door garden,
I wouldn't be
he would
shooting
never
it.
be. The only way that they could ever be hit by it would be. I mean, it just should theoretically.
I
be
wouldn't even
impossible
shoot it
because
with like
the
kids.
way that, yeah, exactly. The way that you're not trained, I guess, but you're instructed by whenever you go to like actual airsoft games and therefore good conduct when you're not at an airsoft game as well with the same weapon is like you don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're shooting towards a person who hasn't directly consented to being shot at.
Yeah,
And
And I
Finn
wouldn't
put it
have it
perfectly as
happen.
well. Is he literally said like, if your kids are out there, I just went.
I
Easy as that.
and back to your point earlier about like if someone saw you with that out in the public, and they called the police and the police would take it away, I would bring my. These aren't like just random people. These are people that I've been over their house and I would have expected a chill response from them of like understanding and like, yes, I feel uncomfortable, but I can see that you'd be safe with them or whatever. Like they know me. It's not like they're giving trust to a person they don't know. They have lived next to me for years and years and years, and I've been over their house multiple times, had good conversations with them, and it was like I know, like I'm a safe guy. Like I always clear my barrels, so I know there's never any like shrapnel in them or any like jammed BBs. I won't directly aim it at someone. Um, it's not like it just I wouldn't ever have it around kids, and I wouldn't point even like the old guy. I wouldn't just randomly point it at him or shoot into his garden. I'd be very cautious about shooting it into other people's gardens. It
Well, that's
wouldn't.
the thing.
It wouldn't ever
The
happen.
law is so tight around them already. Like the law is so tight, and the number of like ways that you can get yourself into a situation where the police can just be called, take it off you, no questions asked. Like, of course, everyone who actually knows even the first thing about it knows that like actually any situation where you would be using it outside of an airsoft field would inevitably be like extremely safe and under extremely controlled conditions anyway. So it's just people who don't understand it, and they don't
Yeah,
because they don't have that same like exposure and understanding of
yeah,
it. They will just be like inherently afraid of it because they're like, oh, it looks like an M16.
yeah. The funny
I
thing
mean,
is, if I
these people, man, they live inherently sad lives because they're spending all their time worrying about things that could happen instead of doing things.
Yeah.
my friend who's been playing airsoft for years, it's funny because like if I use his advice, he said to me, I called him about it afterwards, and he said like, yeah, like if you told him that it was a toy from the get go, because that's what you're supposed to say in public if anyone questions you, if the police pull up on you and say they pull you over, you have to be like, you should be like, I have toys of replica. I have replica weapon. I have toys that look are replicas of weapons. You should always start off with it. They're toys, and I feel like if I went to my neighbor and I used that phrasing, I would have got none of the response I got. And so it's kind of partially my fault. A lot of it is him just being set in his ways and very timid and aggressive and not knowing and being very confused. But if I started that conversation with like, I've recently purchased a toy that's a replica weapon, it would be like half the response of like, oh, okay, cool, like, be safe with it.
I feel like back in the day, people just called them BB guns as well. The term BB gun is like pretty chill.
I tried to use BB gun, but he, I don't know, same response. It was like, I'm gonna call the police. So that was my
See,
rant. After
this-
that, I was like, I've got something that I need to speak to you guys about.
This literally sounds like NPC dialogue where you have to select the right option after 3
Yeah.
attempts, and he'll just give you the same shit if it's not the right one.
Yeah.
Like actually,
Yeah,
like
it's like 2001 Oblivion dialogue, and it's like
literally.
someone, it's like shittily made mod where like every single like option that you choose in the dialogue tree leads back to the same option.
It's like, I have a weapon, calling the police. I have a replica weapon, calling the police. I have a toy. Ah, why don't you just say so, man? It's all good.
And it's like
Insane.
but if you input any word other than if you input like I have like a small brown dog, it's just like calling the police.
They're talking to
Literally.
fucking customer service like robots.
Yeah.
But they're like, oh, look at our cool AI software. By the way, it understands a single sentence in one format. Good luck.
But like, how can
Oh,
how can I go back to this guy's house on like an event where I'm at his house again, without like the awkwardness of him being like, he was gonna call the police on me for having toys.
I would
The
just
classic,
say,
man.
I would just say I can't come over because I have a toy weapon. And
Yeah.
you'd have to just remember that.
And the classic is what I tend to do with I live in a sort of relatively aging population, and essentially, if any member of said aging population wrongs me even once, I will simply never interact with them again.
Yeah.
I will
And then
simply,
they're starved of
I will
contact.
simply never interact with them again, and they
Yeah.
miss out on my beautiful and shining personality.
If he
You could
falls
do
over in the shower, you can just ignore him.
You can do the huge coin flip play, which is a social gathering. Just coin flip that the gathering takes your side and fucking humiliate him.
Yeah, or you can do that. And if not, you just increase your enemies list, and that's fine.
Well, but why coin flip it when you can talk privately to everyone beforehand, work out
Oh,
the people who are going to
hell yeah.
support
Oh
you,
my god, you're
bring
being
them to a
spiteful.
gathering. Yeah, of course.
I mean,
This
I
isn't
would
petty
do,
revenge anymore. This
I
is
would do
violent
the
revenge.
exact same. It's just like, do I really care about the aged population? Probably
Well,
not.
I said to
But
my
I do care
dad,
about trolling them.
because my dad finds my airsoft weapons like really cool. Like he loves them. And we were shooting them earlier, and Dad like, I'll speak to him, because we literally have a fence between us that's really low. So I'll speak to him, and I said, if you speak to him, just tell him they're toys. And because he's an old guy, he probably still thinks of like us 19-year-olds, 20-year-olds as like still babies. So he probably still thinks of me as like, oh my god, this kid's got like a weapon, he can't be trusted. So I said to my dad, just tell, if you get the, because they do speak over the wall to each other, I was like, just tell him I have a toy and it looks realistic. And I'm pretty sure that will sort it out. Because old people only respect other old people. And my dad's like 60.
The 1v1.
Give him a shot. Give him a shot. They're gonna be like, hey man, see, it's a fun toy, you know.
Yeah.
Bro,
It's
I
not
said,
different.
Let bro try it.
bro, I
Let me
said,
put a welt on you, Gramps.
if you want, I can bring around the box with it in, and you can look at it. You can hold it. I won't hand it to you. I'll leave it there for you. I
It's
didn't
like
want him
Sonny
to
and
be
Like
like,
some sort of like cult negotiations.
no, because yeah, I didn't want to be
This
like I
is
hand
handed.
it-
sending a
alien
pet to someone.
species.
Like actually.
Yeah, I didn't want to say I'll hand it to him because he might think I'm like trying to like. He might get scared of that. I was like, I'll just leave it there, and you can look
You
at it.
think you're gonna like quickly like pistol whip it. Just-
Yeah, and he was like,
literally.
again, like it was like, I'm gonna call the police. Leave. I don't want anything to do with this. I will call the police if I see anything. And I'm like, yeah, okay. Dude's dead ass scared of like boxes and shit.
Your final power move should have been, can I use your toilet before I go?
That would have been so funny.
And drop a stinker in that bitch. Yeah.
I'd have no excuse though, because I
Warfare.
live literally like less than 30 seconds walk away.
Say it's urgent.
It's
It's a
urgent. I have
pressing
bladder
issue.
problems.
Just fucking
So,
drop a
it's the
nuke on
correct thing to do if he says no.
No, randomly one day, in like the next week or so, I'll just hop over and be like, I'm locked out of my house. I need to go to the toilet. Can I use yours?
That's if he interacts
Oh
with
no,
you again. Doesn't
if
just
he
strike
says
away
no,
fear.
if he says no, go home, you just say, I'm so sorry then.
I'm so sorry. I put like a
I'm
whole
so
roll.
sorry. Then piss on his doorstep.
I just put like a whole roll of like toilet paper in my like pocket. He thinks it's like a handgun. calls police on me.
That's
Police come to the door. They see it. They're like, I just pull it out. I'm like, what? It's toilet roll. Dude gets like fined or some shit.
This reminds you of the video. Like it's like I think it's like 10 years old at this point. Some cops frisking a guy, and he's like, "What's that?" And the guy's like, "That's my penis." He's like, "Oh, that's your penis."
Oh, I do remember that. I do remember that.
Oh yeah, that's a Vine shit one.
Literally.
TikTok is the new Vine, and I hate it.
Now Vine, I like how Vine is like so, like internet old, not actual old. But
Yeah.
there's like 2 individual fucking apps between it. Fucking TikTok, and then Musically had its phase, and then
Yeah.
Bro, don't mention that shit, bro. Vine had like Vine was like kind of funny in places. Then there was like whatever the fuck Musically is.
Musically was
Now
literally
I'm
like,
just addicted to TikTok.
yeah, true.
oh hell no.
Yeah, you guys are all addicts. I still haven't installed it yet.
I'm
I
on
will.
I'm on Leak Talk, bro.
you get that's the thing. You get some bad shit, and then randomly you'll just get like a TikTok from like a underscore LOL.
I'm
like,
dead ass.
Finley was cultivating his For You page like a Taoist monk, man.
I've literally got the blessed like For You page. It's only Leak content now, full of
Who was
Drutut
I
and like
with?
Trick 2G and what's his Kesha and who as well.
I'm trying to remember who I was with when I was sat in spoons with like a couple of people, and it was essentially we come up with this great idea for a drinking game, right? Which is everyone would open their TikTok For You page, right, and scroll through until they got a thirst trap, and every time you got a thirst trap, you did a shot, right?
Yeah.
The thought being, okay, surely no one will have that many, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, and that's why it's like shots rather than just regular shots, right? And I shit you not, we had to stop playing this game after like 5 minutes.
But you get them whether you want them or
Got
not. That's the
dangerous.
problem with these fucking things.
Like we don't.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You go on your For You page, and when you're just like scrolling through it at 3 in the morning, it's just like, oh great, more like 27 consecutive like League of Legends Shen shit posts, and it's like always Shen for some right. And then you take it out in public, and it's just like, oh.
It
Bro said
knows.
it's always Shen, as if any of us have anywhere close to a lived experience like that.
It's always
No one else?
Nunu for me.
No one else.
No.
No one else.
No
No one
one
else is on like
else.
Shen talk.
I'm always on Nunu Talk, bro.
How do you know about Shen talk?
Yeah, well, so
I don't
randomly
even think I know a
specific.
Shen player.
How do you guys both end up in like the most int-worthy champions possible?
That's the most randomly specific champion that you've never even played in League of Legends.
I don't even know a Shen player. You're on Shen talk.
I have no. I don't know how
I
it's
think-
happened. I don't know how.
I
Bro, you know
I've
that
seen
Shen streamer?
selectively 2
For the-
Shen clips in my entire career of League, I feel like.
For
Ever.
the audience, by the way, I am Mastery 7 Shen. Yes.
Mastery 7 is like the highest ranking you can have for like a champion.
It should be more, there should be an 8, but nope, because you're not allowed to get
It
just
doesn't really show skill, it just shows you played the champion a lot, basically.
If it would, I think it would show like small amount skill, like silver level skill, if they added S plus Mastery 8.
I
Yeah.
just think it'd be cooler, because it'd be a proper bragging right, because S plus isn't always...
What do you
can
think
get
about
S
a
minus
nice,
CSs easily.
A nice sapphire color for the Mastery 8. It
Again,
feels like
but
ma-
the- sorry,
I can't
or
lie,
emerald even.
Again, for the people that don't play League of Legends, Mastery is like a
I'm
way.
playing the game.
Put the Mastery symbols on the thumbnail.
Yeah, maybe. It's literally just like a way to tell on specific champions and characters that you play that you've played them a lot and you've got certain ranks. At the end of a game, you get like a tier. It goes from D to S, D being the worst, S being the highest. So it goes D, E, D. What does it go? D, C, yeah, D, C,
Wait,
B.
you've
The
got
alphabet
alphabet?
backwards.
Yeah,
man,
yeah.
Come on, man.
D, C, B, A, S. I don't know why it jumps to S randomly. But yeah, so if you get a good enough mastery and you play it a lot and you get enough S's, you get these things. So that you get Mastery 5, you get Mastery 6, you get Mastery 7. And Mastery 7 being the highest. Just for clarification.
Bad was playing that.
And Finn, just to clarify for you, the alphabet goes A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, but I didn't... Fuck off.
And it actually repeats like that for the other 21 letters of the alphabet as well.
What? It goes A, B, C, D, E, A, B, C, D, E.
Yeah, those are the
Yeah,
only letters we have.
that's how it works.
Fuck. Okay, cool. Now I know. Now I know my
CSGO is
Glad
now
you
just
said
called
that.
CSAA.
Yes,
Yes,
it's not even
sir.
CS. It's not even CS, bro. It's just C because S
Nice.
doesn't exist. Remember?
Yes,
Car,
it
bitch,
exists.
car. Hey, you guys want some car?
Gah.
Car.
Alright,
Oh, that's not the alphabet, that's the beta bit.
this has been a good long episode, so
Yeah, long for me, bro. I
No,
got
we
work
just
tomorrow.
started devolving. They want to see us devolve.
They don't wanna
Sure,
see
they
us
wanna
dissolve.
evolve.
I
don't wanna
see me
dissolve.
dissolve.
Bro.
And your brain's dissolving
You say
every
you
time
say
you open
you say
your mouth.
devolve like it's not a Sunday night and Virgil has work at like 6 in the morning.
That's not
Yeah.
my problem. That's a him
Kill
problem.
And
me,
he-
by the way.
He will wake up
actually.
at 5 for it.
Oh boy.
All right. Anyway,
Smilers.
Hey, why did
good
you
episode,
stare now?
guys. Please, get the engagement up in our videos. Like,
comment,
subscribe.
subscribe,
Love you
comment,
forever.
hate, comment.
report the
Yeah.
video,
Report the video.
share it to your TikTok. I don't know, put it on Instagram.
Oh yeah, follow Finn on Instagram. He posts some juicy thirst traps.
Link it in your mobile guide as well.
Swap
get
me
a-
as
get a
well.
bumper sticker with
Tell the police I have real
podcast
weapons.
URL on
Actually,
it.
no. Drop your u.gg link in the comments below. We'll rate them next episode. How about that?
I
Next
will.
episode-
bro.
I'm not gonna spoil it, but next episode should be fun. All right,
Next episode's
Anyway.
gonna be
For sure.
for sure,
Of
for sure.
course.
Thanks for
Alright.
watching, guys. We'll
Thanks for
see you
watching.
in the next one.